This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Giannis, Rikky, Morrisette, Albert Lorenzo, Eddie Costello, LightBlindedFool, and the Amyrlin seat. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Sarah Jenkins to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really couldn't do this without you. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 25 and 26 of A Crown of Swords.
Yeah, so chapter 25 is Mindtrap, and 26 is the Irrevocable Words.
Oh my gosh, these were good.
Wow,
Good.
Oh, and you know what? Not just because I absolutely love the Forsaken stuff.
You do, yeah.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
We get so much good information and spooky character.
Oh man, we don't even know what's happening.
I mean,
I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I have no clue. I have no idea. But this is one of those times where I'm like, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people, the summary for these chapters is everybody's having a bad time.
Well, and there's lots of people being owned.
Yes.
That's the theme for this episode, specifically.
Yep.
Not great.
On the record, against that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also on the record.
Quote me on that.
I really like the Shanshan.
I know, right? They're like such good bad guys.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
They're good at being what they are.
Oh my gosh, so good.
I know.
Yeah. And I know I said that. I said
it.
I said it in book 2. I liked the Shanshan, and people were like, whoa.
You know what? I don't like the White Cloaks because they're incompetent at what they do. And I love the Shanshan for their competency.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying all along.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like them for their slavery.
No. For the fact that they do everything really well.
And if you're gonna conquer anyone, please conquer the White Cloaks.
Right?
At this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, there's someone I think we have to pour one out for a little bit. But we'll get there.
Do we?
A little bit.
Whew. Okay,
yeah.
When we get there.
We'll get there.
Also, I'm just going to put it on record. I might have a Harry Potter reference that's decent.
Oh my gosh. You do?
But I don't know if you're going to like it.
I probably won't.
Okay.
If you're already nervous about it.
I might not say it. In the moment, I'll decide if I want to say it.
I think you should no matter what.
No.
And we can all decide.
No. If I feel like it, I'll do it. Okay.
I really hope you feel like it.
Okay, so
I'll encourage you.
Fun fact time.
Okay.
Here we go. Because Morgaze is officially no longer the Queen of Andor, according to Morgaze.
According to Morgaze, which I'll talk about, because that doesn't count Morgaze.
I had to add it in. That is according to Morgaze.
Yeah,
Morgaze
seriously.
is not the queen.
That's my biggest points I honestly have at the end of that chapter.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
It's like, really?
No one heard you say it. It doesn't freaking count.
Also, are you queen still anyways?
Anyways.
Does it matter?
No, you're not. So it doesn't even matter.
So anyways, for the fun fact, I want to see if there's any real life inspiration for this big event. It's a pretty big event, considering Andor is in a lot of ways inspired based on the British monarchy and kind of like the legends of King Arthur. And Morgaze references that there are only 2 other queens who renounced their thrones.
Yeah.
So, long story short, basically, no. There's nothing. But you get to listen to what I found out about the British monarchy.
Okay.
So, from what I can find, only one monarch who renounced the title of king willingly.
Yeah.
Which was Edward VIII.
And that's Queen Elizabeth II's uncle.
Yeah.
Right? Forcing her dad.
Why do you know that?
Because we watched The Crown.
Oh, yeah, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, anyways, so apparently Edward VIII reigned less than 1 year, 326 days, and he wanted to marry a divorced woman, which was against the rules.
The church, yeah.
So he willingly gave up the title of king.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a couple others who were forced off the throne, so it doesn't really count.
Okay.
So it's not like a direct comparison to Morgaze saying, oh, there's 2 others plus me who willingly gave up the throne.
Yeah.
And we can talk about if Morgaze was willingly giving up the throne. Doesn't really matter.
Or if she actually gave it up.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was going to talk about how King Edward VIII was Queen Elizabeth's uncle, but apparently you know all that stuff from the show.
You also know that. You just don't remember.
This is news to me.
You didn't pay attention.
But interestingly, there have been no British monarchs who have abdicated due to advanced age.
Oh.
Yeah, nobody gives up the throne because they're old.
No,
Does
clearly.
not happen.
Clearly.
Now, guessing game, clearly, right? So guessing game for you, how many monarchs have there been for the British monarchy? Total number. 12,
since the beginning of
about
Britain?
1,200 years. How many? Ballpark it. Knowing that none of them give up the throne because they're super old.
Because of age.
Yeah.
Okay. 1,200 years ago, people lived probably less time.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Okay.
That's one way to look at it.
I'm going to go ahead and say that there's going to be, on average, 200 years.
Keep going.
So I'm going to go with 24.
Oh, that's not enough.
Oh, no. Because I thought that maybe there'd be some...
People being the king/queen.
Yeah.
Okay. More than 20, whatever you said. Okay.
70.
Okay, now we're getting... Okay, that's a good guess and I'll take it.
Okay.
61.
61.
Yeah.
Well, because I thought maybe there was like some really long reigning people.
And that's fair. I think
because,
there's also
like,
some
Queen
who are
Elizabeth
like...
is like literally 75 years on her own.
Sure. She's an exception.
Yeah,
She's
I know.
not the rule.
I know. Okay.
But anyways, yeah, there you go.
Cool. Last time we were here, Nynaeve had a plan, although it was not very well thought out.
At all, yep.
Yep. Nynaeve and Elaine go to discover this kin of women channelers in Abu Dar, and they do just a terrible job of convincing them that they're Aes Sedai.
Yep.
They get shielded, almost kidnapped, and then sent out on the street, and then are threatened that they must leave the city.
Yes. Also,
They're
almost
attacked
kidnapped
in the street,
again.
probably Definitely by dark friends.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good.
So all in all, not great for them,
Yeah, very bad.
and we've left them now for a little while.
Okay.
And the last time we saw Moghedien was when she was being freed
Yes.
at the end of last book,
Yeah.
right?
/ beginning of this book. From Egwene's perspective again.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah, okay.
Sorta.
We didn't see Moghedien, though.
True.
Yeah. But that's the last time we heard from her. We didn't know where she was, what she was up to. And I was like, quick trip to Shale Ghul.
Yeah.
Gets her message.
It's gonna be cool.
Back out in the world.
She's gonna be going to do her thing to seek revenge.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about Moghedien now.
I think we're cool. I think we're the... Like, I don't want to be the guy.
Unless, her task is to go and find...
Go get revenge now on the
Not
women
revenge, but maybe go, capture them or something.
Sure.
I can't see it, but I'm just...
I was going to say, I don't want to be the guy to say, are we in the clear? But, it kind of feels like we're in the clear.
Unless her mission
Sure.
happens to be something them.
I like it. Okay, let's do this.
Hey, chapter 25
Oh, yeah.
is Mindtrap.
Yes.
And we have the chapter symbol of the snake, the Forsaken snake.
Yeah.
So, Moghedien's perspective, she is being forced to relive her, quote, rescue over and over again, it seems like, in some sort of weird dreamlike state sequence.
Yeah,
thing.
it is super weird, and it's over and over again.
She's definitely being forcefully held in this, non-sleep state where she's trying to wake herself up and can't.
Yeah, it's almost comatose type thing.
Yeah.
Clearly torture method to
Uh-huh.
relive an event over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Possibly for thousands of years.
Right, and what we're reliving is her experience from when Halima entered the tent and set her free.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not free.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No.
No.
One
Released
captive
her. Yeah.
to the next is
Exactly.
really what it seems like here.
And this one seems worse.
Well, I don't think she's going to have to do dishes and laundry.
Oh, if that's how you view dishes and
I
laundry,
do. That's how I view dishes and laundry.
I guess that's why I do the dishes and laundry.
That's true. That's accurate in our household. You're right about that.
Okay, that explains a lot, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's good to know that.
Yeah, if you ever want to torture me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Now, I do want to point out one thing, because when she was being set free to go to the Pit of Doom,
Yep.
we get some new information because she wove a gateway and skimmed herself so that she could have time to think or something like that.
Yeah.
But she imagined herself not only a gateway platform with railings,
But also
a chair.
a chair.
And not just regular railings, but completely enclosed.
Yes.
So we're getting extra safety,
Yeah.
and a chair for the journey.
Exactly.
Every time we see somebody
Safety standards.
one-upping in skimming world,
Yeah.
I love it. I love
good.
it so much.
No, it's really good. It's really good. And it's a little bit not clear because in her mind, she thinks, and then she arrived immediately.
Yeah.
But
because she sat down with time to think because
Yeah.
it's supposed to take
X amount of time to get somewhere.
Exactly.
But who knows if that's like a mind trap thing or if it actually she arrived instantaneously.
She didn't have a mind trap thing set yet.
She's reliving this dream thingy
Yeah.
over and over again. So, yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I actually think I might know what a mind trap is, but I'm not sure.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Because I just very confidently just said, that's not a mind trap.
No.
But let me tell you, I don't know.
No, you're correct.
Okay.
The Korsuvra is
Yeah.
the mind trap.
Okay.
But she's also trapped in her mind right now. So I was just saying, I don't know if the instantaneous arrival at Shale Ghul is based on her reliving this experience
Guess
or
what?
if it was actually instantaneous.
Guess what doesn't matter at all?
That.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we get a giant Murdral leading her into the pit.
Yeah, and that's Shadar Haran.
Yeah, that's where we enter here now.
Okay, now, for the record, we get another reference, because we get it a few times this chapter.
Yeah.
Reference to the true power.
Yeah.
It's the power that came from the Dark One among the living. Only the chosen knew how to tap into the true power.
Okay.
Very important.
Yeah.
And few are fool enough to do that except in direst need.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep it in mind.
Will do. We'll come back to it.
We have a big mystery to solve here.
We do have a little bit of a mystery to solve. Mm-hmm. I'm not so good at that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I'm good at it sometimes by accident.
That's true.
Let's see how it goes.
You might figure it out while we're talking.
Maybe. All right, so Moghedien is busy screaming in the depths of her mind, trying to break free from this dream prison scenario.
Yep.
And she's replaying her interaction where she went to the pit of doom.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's happening.
Yep.
Because I was trying to figure out what's going on.
Yep. Again, she's reliving the experience of doing it, so we're getting what happened to her immediately after leaving Saladar.
Got it. So it's kind of like a flashback, but new to us.
Yeah. But it's not new to her because it's happened apparently repeatedly for a couple of days.
Long time.
Yeah. And again, thing to point out, because there's lots of little phrases in this chapter that I just want to highlight for your information.
Okay.
So she thinks about Shadar Haran leading her down the sloping tunnel, and we've seen that scene before. Where
that
kind
was
of
Demandred, right?
Yeah, and the jaws of the tunnel can close in on people, and it's clearly doing that for her, but not for the Murdral, because that's Shadar Haran. And she thinks how she's always been able to hide her failures, or at least she thinks she has. But she thinks about how here, in the Pit of Doom, things can be done here that can be done nowhere else, and things can happen here that can happen nowhere else.
Okay.
Special rules apply to Shale Ghul.
Got it. So back in where Moghedien is following the big Murdral guy, Shadar Haran.
That's right, the Hand of the Dark.
Yeah, okay. And she's going through that tunnel, and it is closing down on her to the point where she's army crawling.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones style, grab your hat.
Ripping her dress and everything.
It's not a good situation.
Right. And so she makes it through, and then it's completely closed off, and she thinks oh, maybe that was timed perfectly, or maybe if I had been a bit slower, yikes.
Yeah, the Dark One is not happy.
Yeah.
So.
No, and he wasn't going to kill you off. That wasn't his plan here.
And maybe if she dragged her butt, maybe.
Maybe.
It seems like a super medium situation.
I think that it's all very magic-y, and it's on purpose to freak her out.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So Moghedien is on the ledge above the lava and stuff, and then there's the not real sky overhead, but it's weird, and then this is something to do with the boar in the Great Lord's place of imprisonment.
Yes. So this is the thing about Shale Ghul. We've heard it a few times before, that the boar isn't specifically anywhere, but here it's where the pattern is thinnest.
Okay.
So this is where the pattern is thinnest, and the Dark One has the most ability to reach through the pattern. So it seems like there's more Dark One power here in the Pit of Doom.
Okay.
And that's all it is. It's just very sci-fi.
A little bit.
You're gonna have to go with it a little bit.
I'm going with it.
Yeah.
Because she also thinks that the true power washes around her while she's here.
Yeah, she can feel it. So we're getting sort of specifics, and again, this is the first book where true power is mentioned, and we're getting it a bunch of times.
I know.
On how it acts with people, and how it interacts with the world. So just like tuck it away.
I don't have anything to tuck away right now. So.
True power, different than the one power.
Yeah, no, I got that part.
Okay.
Okay. So now she starts to get up from the ground, and then Shaidar Haran plants his boot on her back, forcing her to the ground. And then she tries to pull like the "Don't you know who I am?" But this fade isn't a regular fade.
No, he's a cool fade.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's a cool fade.
Yeah.
And then she gets like the voice in her head. That's like the dark one.
Yeah, it's all capitals, in the book. If you're reading print, it's all capitalized letters.
Yeah. And so the voice says, "Mogedion, how deep is your failure? The chosen are always the strongest, but you let yourself be captured and you taught those who would oppose me."
Ooh, that's apparently a big no-no.
Yeah, and then Mogedion tries to defend herself a bit, and she's like, "Oh, I basically let myself be captured on purpose so that I could torture them."
It's so funny.
And,
because, like, literally, the Chosen, like, one of the most evil people ever, and her best defense is like, did you see the headaches that I gave them?
Yeah.
They had, like, bad headaches.
Yeah,
it was great.
I taught them supposed ways to detect a man's channeling.
It's like, okay.
You can't do it.
No,
you can't.
It's not even a thing.
Hilarious.
It's like, that's your defense, Mogedion? This is not going to go well for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you got to give her, like, maybe a little bit of props for at least trying to fool the Dark One. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it does bring up an interesting point about the Dark One in general, about how, like, omniscient, how much does he actually know?
Yeah.
And does he only get information from people who give him information?
No.
Well, then how do you fool him? Like, where does that extra information come from?
Maybe.
That's kind of like the...
Well, because we know we have Halima hanging out.
But that's what I'm saying. Does he only really get to know stuff from what people report to him?
I don't know.
How
do we even know it's a he?
That's, because he's...
It's just like a loud voice. Because
he's that evil. He's that evil, so...
It's just that it's a man?
It has to be.
Okay, all right. I can
just,
get on board with that. It's more just like a loud voice.
Yeah.
Than a male character.
No, I get that.
Okay.
It's just like, he's comparable to the devil, so, It.
Oh, so...
It? The Dark One?
The Dark One.
Sure.
Anyway, there's a whole weird thing where she thinks that the Fade is gonna eat her, and so she, like, tries to reach for Saidar.
Yes.
Even though that's a death sentence here.
Yep.
But then there's, like, nothing there.
That's actually big.
And she feels as if she's been severed.
Right, because, remember, listen to this one, being severed means there's no trace of Saidar left, so it's not the same as being stilled or gentled.
Okay.
Right? It's just nothing there.
It's gone.
Nothing's there.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. We know that. We've heard that before.
Yeah. And so now the Fade at this point forces her mouth open, and then he has a knife in his hand, so he takes her saliva, scrapes her tongue, and then nicks her ear and takes some blood, and then takes out this teeny tiny cage of like gold wire and crystal.
Yep.
And she's like, "No."
Yeah, she knows what it
is.
is.
This is like super dramatic. And at this point, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, so this is the Mindtrap.
Right, and then we get, for the first time, the word Korsuvra.
Yeah, Korsuvra.
Mm-hmm.
Say it fast.
No.
Korsuvra.
Nope, that makes sense.
Mindtrap.
Yeah, so Shaidar Haran scrapes her fluids into this thing and then tosses it over to the lava lake, but then it stops and floats in the air.
Super magical.
Where the pattern is the thinnest of all.
Ooh, okay.
Magic.
Good to know things happen here that don't happen anywhere else.
Yes.
Very important for Shale Ghul.
Yeah. Now, is this your Harry Potter reference?
Nope.
Oh.
Why? I don't know.
Horcrux.
Why?
I don't know. A Horcrux is like an object that has a piece of your soul in it.
Okay.
And this is kind of like an object that has a piece of your soul in it.
No. That's not the one.
Is that not what this is?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, like, created in different ways.
Sure. No, but I can totally see the comparison where, yeah, it's like a piece of Mogedion that is her, because we learn how that affects her later on if it's, like, broken.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
You know what? You said it.
I
so,
did.
like,
well, that's
yours.
what I thought you were going to say, and I was like,
No.
that's not that bad. It's
No.
okay. It's
No.
an all right comparison.
No. Nope.
Oh.
There's another one.
Okay. Well, I guess we can have a shot now.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm eager to find out what yours is, though.
Yeah, I'm worried about. I'm getting progressively more nervous about it.
Okay,
so.
well, cheers to my super medium.
Yeah, there you go.
Reference.
Yeah. This is one of our last 2 bottles of bubblegum vodka.
It's been a while.
From years ago.
That's more vodka-y than I remember.
Like, from the before times. The long ago, before we had children.
Before children times.
Yeah, this is pre-children vodka.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Does it taste wonderful? Do you feel young again?
Okay.
Okay.
I've never felt older.
Oh man, okay.
Oh my god.
Well,
wow.
Buckle up. You might have to.
I also dumped some on the side of my face, like I forgot how to take shots.
It happens. It happens.
Oh my gosh, I did not love that. Maybe you could just choose not to do yours.
No, now I'm feeling it.
No.
Okay.
All right, where are we?
Yeah, fluids into the
Gross,
Corsubra.
disgusting.
Mindtrap activated. Thrown over the lava.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And here we go. Because Moghedien super doesn't want this to happen.
No. She's like full pleading mode, begs for mercy as if like
the great Lord of the Dark is like not going to do that.
Merciful, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then the Great Lord is like, you may serve me still. And that like gives her some spark of hope.
Yeah.
But then she's kind of like, but how?
Yeah, because she knows what a mind trap is and what that means.
And we don't know what that is at this point. Like, I have no idea.
It sounds really bad.
Yeah.
It sounds bad.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows because we get later that she's done this to other people.
Yeah. Yikes, she's bad.
But yeah.
She's a baddie.
Yeah, so what we're basically witnessing here is a very powerful event, and you can essentially bind somebody's soul here in the Pit of Doom.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what's happening here.
Okay.
And it doesn't seem like you need to be a willing participant to the extent that Moghedien is already like a dark friend.
Yeah.
So it's just good to know this kind of thing can happen.
Well, yeah, and I feel like Moghedien said that she brought people here
She does.
for it to be done.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that she was the one who like did it.
And again, possibly
Yeah.
from what we can maybe tell, I don't know.
All right. So now Moghedien is back on her pallet. She's like reliving this event over and over and over. And then Shaidar Haran is there and says, "Wake, woman." And finally her eyes pop open and she's in her like little stone prison with the Fade.
Yep.
And she's not sure how long she's been here, but she's absolutely doing like whatever she's told. She kneels in front of him and says, "I greet you eagerly,
Miyakova." Yeah.
Which means the one who owns me.
Yeah, so it's good to note that at this point, it seems like Moghedien is pretty much broken
Yeah.
by Shaidar Haran specifically, because she's not broken entirely from what we see in the next scene.
No, for sure not. No. Yeah. All right, so Moghedien.
Pause.
Oh.
Also important, because there's lots of little tidbits of information.
Okay.
So, she thinks about how the true power was denied to her because it can only be drawn with the Great Lord's blessing. So for someone to draw the true power, the Dark One's got to say, "Yep, you can do it." And that kind of links, and we get more information on this later, that the Chosen are the only ones who are allowed to use the true power.
Yep.
So
well,
it's like...
that's what she thinks.
Exactly. So it's kind of like...
Doesn't really seem that way.
But they're chosen.
Unless they're new chosen.
They're chosen to use the true power.
Oh, got it.
Right?
Okay.
There's like a connection we can maybe link a little bit here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Also, mind traps, dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, Moghedien has for sure been like tortured here at the like minimum.
Yeah.
And she thinks about how most women would be on the brink of madness already. And we already know about the weird sort of rapey vibes we get from like other Murdral.
Yes.
So that's kind of where my mind went here, which is like
very possible.
Like not great.
It's not.
Don't love it.
But on theme with these 2 chapters.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, they're evil.
Oh, yeah.
Like Murdral are like evil incarnate. And this one is the hand of the most evilest thing.
I know. It's just hard to...
Yeah, it's not good. It's not supposed.
My head around.
It's not supposed to be good. You're not supposed to like it.
It's not supposed to be comfortable.
It's not supposed to be comfortable.
Torture and that kind of stuff is not comfortable. So.
And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, bad things are happening to a bad person, but still inherently is bad, and then shouldn't support. So like, yeah, on record, bad stuff is happening.
Right. Now, can you shed some light on what is happening here?
Yeah, because we gotta get to the next scene.
It's
so
rather confusing.
This is the transitional scene where we want to go from where we are which is in the cell to
Kansas,
where the new guy is.
Oz.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shadow Haran tells her close your eyes, and she does because that's a rule you definitely got to follow. And then he puts his hand on her head and then rushes forward, and she screams so she can feel like her head moving forward.
Sure.
So she thinks that he's going to smash her head into the stone wall because she's in a cell currently. But then she like gets let go of, and she's
somewhere else.
Yeah, she's like magically through the wall.
Not in her prison cell.
Into the new place.
But she does keep her eyes shut.
Yes, and the very cool part is that we kind of get to maybe see how Fades do their shadow jumps. Which, they like leap through them, so you gotta basically platform 9 3/4 this. You rush really hard at the wall.
Yeah.
And boom, you're magically into a different place.
Okay. That's a good one.
There you go.
I really don't want to take another shot in there right
and
now.
fan fiction-wise, Shadow Haran previously was employed at the platform to help students through.
That's a bad joke.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
And then he got recruited, so like, that's what
how that happened?
He's in a new job now, pays better.
Yeah,
know-
he gets to be more evil.
Gets more benefits, I've heard too. They have free healthcare, so
What if I just take a tiny shot?
Sure, that's okay.
You proud of yourself for that one?
I am. I wrote it out. It was really good.
Ah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
Did I react well enough for you?
You didn't say that you hated it, so like that's as good as it gets, I think.
Okay, I might be slightly more mentally prepared for this shot.
Okay,
this time.
fair. Okay.
Okay, platform 9 3/4.
There you go. It's funny.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, like maybe that's how Fades jump between shadows. They like rush through them and leap through to a new shadow.
Perhaps.
So maybe.
Yeah, that's not how platform 9 3/4 works still, right?
Yeah, you jump through the wall.
Okay.
That's what happens. I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
You jump through the wall.
But they're still at the train station.
Yeah.
They're just on the other side.
Okay. Nah.
If anything, it could be like kind of like flu powder. You
Yeah.
like go from one
Now you're getting,
fireplace to
now I'm
the
not
next.
sure what you're talking.
No?
That's fine. Okay.
Okay, cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Nope, that's still bad.
These chapters are going to get interesting now because it's like two very quick shots.
Yeah, that was a baby shot. That wasn't even a real one. That was
yeah. Okay.
for me.
Yeah. No, let's do this. Because
Okay, let's go. Because I'm done. I'm over this one a little bit. Okay.
New guy. Let's do it.
New guy, new voice says, "You can look now." And so she opens her eyes, and it's not the Murdral. It is a tall, broad-shouldered young man in black boots and a white flowing shirt. And he's got blue eyes, and he's sitting in a chair, and he's doing the Rand.
Okay.
It's a stance.
Oh, okay. It's not Rand, though. Like,
no, he's doing the Rand.
The Rand. Okay.
Where you put your leg over the arm
yes.
of the chair.
Have you seen how relaxed I am?
That's the Rand.
Yes.
That's the move.
Yep.
Yeah. You know how often Rand has done that? I should start tracking it. Because honestly,
I should do that in real life more often. So,
I was going to say.
So people know how relaxed I am.
I will take you so much more seriously.
When people ask me to do a favor, I'll say, wait, and then I'll put my leg over the chair, and then I'll say,
the arm of the chair.
As long as I don't have to kill my sister or, hurt my country, then yes.
That's the Gawain.
It's a little bit of both.
Oh, okay. I see.
Leg over the... Both. Yeah. Do both.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. So Moghedian thinks that this place looks like it belonged to some, like, wealthy merchant, and I think it's so funny because the idea of a wood paneled room looking fancy is so 80s to me. Like you can tell that Robert Jordan wrote this in like the 80s and 90s. Like the wood paneled room is fancy.
It is fancy.
That is so funny. That's probably my favorite part.
Wait till you see the shag carpet.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
So funny.
Yeah.
So good.
But yeah, her thought process here is also like really terrible because she thinks this place has to be close by Shale Ghul because it doesn't have the feel of Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yeah.
So what else could it be? But like you just got shadow rushed by a Murdral.
You could be anywhere.
You could be literally anywhere. Like, how would you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
You've been cut off from the power in your little prison. Like,
and you don't even actually know how long you've been cut off for.
no, like, you have no idea what's going on.
Which we get in, like, a second here.
Yeah.
Because this man says, did you enjoy your time in the vacuole?
Yeah.
Which is, like, her prison cell thing, right?
Yeah, so this is new.
Or is that the state of, like, sleep thing she was in?
Exactly. So the
Okay.
sleep state is what seems to be the vacuole, because Moghedian thinks...
How long was I in there?
Well, yeah, and she thinks, I'm not a researcher or a maker, but I know the word, so that must be a technical term from the Age of Legends.
Okay.
Like, vacuole has to be. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Right.
And she doesn't understand how this young dude can know this kind of information.
Yeah.
And for us, it's like, how are you sure that this guy is from this current timeline? Like, we know the reincarnation is the thing.
Yes.
So if you're using Age of Legends terms, like, it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you know all this stuff, then maybe you're not from today's day and age.
Right.
Anyways.
But because she doesn't know him,
she
like,
thinks...
of his, like, she doesn't know his face.
Exactly.
But we also know that it's super simple for the Dark One to just, like, take your soul and shove it in someone else's body from this time.
That's true. However, counterpoint, it also doesn't seem like that's a thing that happens very often. Even though we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's a thing that typically would happen all the time.
Well, no, but who's saying all the time? We know two, like, of two others for sure.
Yeah.
And then, like, maybe this is the third.
Exactly.
Like, we literally don't know.
Yeah, so, like, maybe she's not necessarily aware that that is a thing that can
I don't think she does, or else she would have speculated a little more on the Halima situation that she was forced to relive 1,000 times.
And we can get more into that about the whole chosen stuff, too, I'm going to point out to you.
Okay.
So
Moghedian asks...
Hold on.
Oh.
Vacuoles. We got to talk about vacuoles.
Why?
Because it's important.
No, it's boring.
Masana, according to Masana, who's like the researcher lady, she wanted to be a researcher.
Yeah, then was forced to be a teacher. I remember.
She turned to the shadow because, like, evil teachers, I buy it. So she thinks that a simple explanation would be there's bubbles in the pattern, and then vacuoles can be entered if you know how to, and manipulated like the rest of the world. And then researchers in the Age of Legends did experiments in them.
But sometimes they'd, like, close up, and then whoever was in there would disappear forever.
The only reason I really want to point that out is because it sounds very... Like, we've heard the bubbles in the pattern.
Sure.
Bubbles of evil.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe there's some sort of connection / similarity.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, bubbles.
No.
Nothing. Okay. That's fine. All right. Well, let's continue then.
Okay. So Moghedian asks, how long was I in there?
Yeah.
And the man is like, well, I saw you arrive the night before last.
And he, like, draws it out. He's like, dot. And
Moghedian's relieved because it's totally possible that she was in prison for, like, 100 years or 1,000 years, and she'd wake up to some, like, totally different world or situation.
Yeah, it'd be like Archer Hawkwing's time to, like, today, and it's like, what is happening? So,
well, or where she did wake up from Age of Legends to here. She's like, I just did that.
Yes.
I'm just figuring out this world, and now... Who knows, right?
Well, maybe she shouldn't suck so much.
Yeah, and then she also thinks about how she's going to get out of having a mind trap, but it seems like
you
impossible.
You don't
but
do
she's
that.
Like, somehow I feel like I can.
Yeah. Well, and again, we get this reiterated like twice in this chapter. She is technically still one of the chosen.
Yes. Is it possible for her to kill the person who holds the... trap thing, and then she, like, just takes it for herself.
Well, you know what? We know the Dark One likes to have, like, competition between his people.
He certainly does. Yeah. See, I just said she. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, very possible.
Is it? I don't know. Now, Moghedian thinks this guy for sure knows a lot for, like, a dark friend.
Yeah. And a young one. A young dude.
Ugh, he's like 20.
I hate it.
What could he even know?
You know what I hate more than 21-year-olds?
20-year-olds?
20-year-olds.
They know nothing.
Nothing.
No. So she considers teaching him a lesson, but then she does the same, like, do you have any idea who I am thing? And he's like, yes. Yes, I do.
That's why you're here in this situation right now.
Of course I know who you are, idiot. And I know exactly what's going on with you. Like, and how would you possibly think that this guy doesn't know what's happening, considering the big scary Murdral literally plunked you here.
He just mind trapped you, and you thought you might be like in prison, in cosmic prison for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
You're a friggin' genie here.
I know.
Yeah, he knows what's happening.
It's the go-to. The arrogant thing is the go-to.
Right, they are flawed.
Yeah. And so this guy says, you may call me Moradin.
Yeah, which means?
Death.
Death.
And Mogetti's like, well, anyone can call themselves Death, but like, what does that actually mean?
That's not the shocking part about this dude.
No, the tiny black flecks floating across his eyes.
Yes, which means?
He has tapped into the true power.
Which means?
He's the Watcher.
He's the Watcher. Moradin is the Watcher.
Probably. Unless there's other guys wandering around. Like if this is like a new thing that the Dark One's trying out with a bunch of different Dark Friends.
He's doing a new thing now. It's a new game. I'm going to give everybody true power and use it a lot.
No, but this guy clearly is like Age of Legends guy. And he was the one wearing the fan cloth and had like the Mirror of Mists or whatever it was.
Mask of Mirrors, yeah.
And, and he knew Grandolin.
Yeah.
Samael,
and knows like what Samael's like and everything.
Yeah.
And then he also thinks about like how he uses the true power and it's worth the cost.
Yeah.
So that's the big thing.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if it turns out not to be this guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we technically get also a name for the dots running across.
We do?
The Sa.
Oh.
Or the Sa.
Okay.
So SAA. However you want to pronounce that. But we get more information. So there's the honor of using the true power, but it has a bite because in the long run, the true power is far more addictive than the one power, according to Mogettian.
Yep.
And she doesn't believe that anybody can resist the true power once the Sa appear in your eyes.
Yeah.
And this is the last part I'll highlight. The final price is different, but no less terrible.
Got it.
So what's the final price?
Of drawing too much of the one power?
True power.
Oh, okay. Because the price of drawing too much of the one power is you burn out and die, right?
So like what happens with like using too much of the true power? There's a whole bunch of question marks, but like spooky new power.
Yeah. Goodness.
Tuck it away.
Yeah, well, I also think it's interesting because Mogettian says you've been given distinction greater than you know. Only 29 others have ever been granted this. ... So that means that potentially we've got 29 other people chosen to use the true power. Right. And in this age, we know of 13 like Forsaken, like the names used to like frighten children.
And that means that the remainder there, those people are from the Age of Legends probably.
Yeah.
And haven't made it to carry on.
Yeah.
That means
this
like
guy did.
No reincarnation, no nothing, no like living for 3,000 years.
Right.
No, that's
it.
Well,
because these are the ones that were trapped in the boar or whatever, right?
Exactly.
Or sealed up by Loose there. And we haven't talked about that whole thing in a long time, but that happened.
Yeah. So it seems like Mogettian plus 29 other people were among the chosen.
Honor.
Yeah, and plus or minus this new Moradin guy.
Right.
Not exactly sure how she... Depends how she counts it. Mm-hmm. Right? But we know at the beginning of the series only 13 remain. So, I mean, it's kind of cool to know that there was more Forsaken, in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Okay, and those 13 just, like, happened to be...
Yeah, or we're, like, the most powerful, right?
Okay.
So, possibly, we don't know.
Well, could there have been more who were sealed up that we, like, don't know about?
Because, like, would Robert Jordan just introduce a bunch of new bad guys in the middle of the series?
At the same time that there's a bunch of other new bad guys?
That doesn't sound like something he would do.
And then also, even if the bad guys die, we just bring them back
doesn't
as
matter.
Characters?
Do we even want Rand to win this? Like, is this
I don't think so.
Dark One kind of has a point. We should just, like, let him win, maybe.
Yeah. So... Long story short,
I
have no idea who this guy is.
Love it. But it's for sure the Watcher.
Yeah,
probably. Are you on board with that?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm okay with that, but you're just, like, very sure about it. And, like, I get thrown off when you're, like, very on board with it.
That's good, too. I gotta keep you on your toes.
I'm always on my toes over here.
Oh, yep.
Alright, so Mogettian is trying to act all important, but Morden cuts her off and, like, laughs and is like, no. You don't understand. You still serve the Great Lord, but not quite in the same way. You don't get to play your own sneaky spider games anymore.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't have managed to, like, do some good by accident, you'd be dead by now.
Yeah, so that's big.
Yeah. And then Moghedien tries to say, I'm one of the chosen, boy. Because, you know, he's 20.
Right.
And she says, my name is scary and stuff, and you better watch out.
Right.
And then, after all this, like, ranting, Moradin reaches in his shirt and pulls out her little Mindtrap thinger.
And he's like, hey.
What's it called again?
The Corsuvra.
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 We have one of those in our Discord.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've tried to say it once.
I know, and I've never helped you.
Never.
I never want you to know if the names of things are things.
I know, or something.
You never know. You know, I don't want to help you with it.
Shout out to that person in our Discord.
Yeah.
It's much more nefarious.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Yeah, ooh.
Ooh.
Shouldn't be trusting that
of
person.
all the things you're teaching to me, whoa. My goodness.
That's what you identify.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, it's interesting here because Moghedien also sees the second
so
Corsuvra hanging here.
This is good. It's good.
And it's not hers.
Well, one is hers, and one is not hers, which means Moradin
has a lot of freaking power.
He has two people who are, like, soul-bound to him.
Uh-huh. And I can only imagine people are soul-bound if they've, like, disappointed or, like, done something bad.
Really effed up. Like, you really did a bad job.
And do, like, just regular, typical Dark Friends get this fate sometimes? Because Moghedien has brought people to have this happen to them.
But here's the thing. Because this seems like a thing that's
it does seem like a thing.
Overly powerful.
Yeah.
Probably takes some effort and skill. Like, it takes.
I don't think it takes that much effort, but okay.
Maybe not effort, but it takes a degree of, like, you're not just gonna
darkness.
Yeah, you're not just gonna take, like, random dude. You're not gonna take frickin' Pater and then mind trap him.
Maybe.
But, like, what can
if he effed up enough?
But what can that person do? Like, what are you really binding their soul in this sense for?
That's fair.
Right? So, like,
Maybe it's more like Black Aja, or, like, people who can channel. Like,
there we go. I could see, like, someone more powerful exactly being in this mind trap situation. So the real question is, like, number one, who's the other person who's bound? And then two is, like, who is this Moradin dude who gets to have two people bound to him for what purposes?
I already said, man.
Yeah. Oof. Okay.
I don't know, man.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know at all. Should I know?
No.
Have there been any, like, breadcrumbs? You can say yes or no.
Not enough. Not enough.
Okay. But there have been some? You can say yes or no. Like, I'm not going back to read, and I'm not going to figure it out.
I'm going to stick with my not enough answer, because we're just going to keep reading, and we'll talk about it later on.
Okay. That's a yes, then.
Well, here's the thing. I want you to suffer like everybody else had to suffer.
No. I'm suffering.
Yeah, I just want to make sure there's enough suffering.
But it just would be nice to know if there was, like, tidbits along the way that I just completely missed.
Well, like, here's a question. Like, who killed Asmodean?
Yeah, no.
Right.
We don't need to talk about that.
And then RJ's like, you should know, because it's like, I put it pretty clearly in the books, idiot. So
it was this guy.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Moradin, he's death.
There we go.
Oh, Brett, you just led me right to that.
Easy peasy. That's how we figure it out.
Idiot.
Okay.
Oh my god. Did you just do
it? Yeah, no.
Because you just very casually took a sip of your drink all smugly.
Or did I?
And sometimes...
You'll never know.
Sometimes you, like, do things like that.
Same degree of suffering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, anyway. We get a whole thing about how it's super easy to just, like, crush this thing.
Well, it's a tiny, fragile little cage, and apparently, if you do that, then part of her soul that is her gets separated, and then she gets to watch her body be a mindless robot doing the things, but she's not really in control anymore at all.
That sounds worse.
It is worse. So, like, do the things, otherwise you're just like...
This is a lot of responsibility for this Moradin guy.
And you know...
Because, like, I'm, like, not a careful
I was going to say, you are the kind of person who would accidentally smash the mind trap.
Yeah, I would.
You, like,
I would
slip,
accidentally.
like, bump into a wall and be like, oh no. Sorry.
Like, close the car door and, like, get
got it caught over my shirt. Oh, no. Whoops. Oh, man. Okay.
There's no clumsiness allowed.
No, there's really not.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Can we finish this chapter?
Sure.
I think I'm done with
I
this.
love this chapter so much. It's
There's
so good.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
There's a lot happening.
It's a lot you gotta tuck away for later.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so Moradin is like, do you get it now?
Yeah.
Do you get it? You still serve the Great Lord. but now you'll be doing exactly what I say. And Moghedien right away is like, I understand, and then calls him the my owner.
Yeah, Myakova. So it's like she reverts to the Shidar Haran level of ownership.
She knows she's quite literally owned now. And Moridin laughs and says, no need for all that, but now you've had your lessons. I'll call you Moghedien and you call me Moridin. You are still one of the chosen. Who else is there to replace you?
Yeah. So like,
and she thinks that she knows that she is owned.
Yeah, so this is big. So the Dark One doesn't seem to be like effing around anymore.
No.
Letting the Forsaken do whatever they want to do. Everybody's doing their own plots.
Yeah.
Now maybe we're trying to get one cohesive plan to do the thing.
And some of them might have to just be controlled to do it.
Like, no, Moghedien, you don't just get to do whatever all the time.
Because doing whatever all the time didn't work well for you.
Exactly. So there we go. I really like this chapter.
Yeah, it was fun. I can understand how later again, when you have information,
you're like, ooh, sneaky.
This, I can sense how good this is.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's like the claw machine. That's the analogy I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah.
Like when you know there's like a really, really good, like stuffy.
Yeah.
And you really, really want that one. It's like a name, brand, something or other.
Yep. Buzz Lightyear,
claw machine.
Yeah.
Trying to get it, and I know it's good, and I know I almost have it.
Yeah. Oof.
But I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss the point.
Shoot.
I'm missing it right now. So that's, as a first-time reader...
The reread is the loony you put in the next time.
And you actually get it.
You get it.
And you can't say loony again.
Dollar coin.
People don't know.
Coin dollar?
Canadian dollars.
$1 bill.
$1 bill.
Yeah.
Which is a very foreign concept.
Yeah.
There's been a $2 bill in our lifetime.
See, that was like pretend, though.
Like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have one.
I had one. I
still do.
You know, okay, yeah.
It's in our house somewhere.
It's probably worth $1 now.
If you can find it, you can have it. I know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that, that's the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move on into our next one.
The next bad chapter of bad things happening.
Okay, so chapter 26, the irrevocable words.
Whoa, so heavy.
Yeah, so the chapter symbol is the sunburst, which is quite misleading, might I say.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
you know what this chapter symbol should be?
You know where they are, right?
Amnesia. I get it.
It's White Cloaks.
Yeah, you think it's going to have to do with White Cloaks. Especially when we enter in a more gaze perspective. You're like, oh, she's dealing with the White Cloaks.
Yeah.
Wrong. This chapter symbol should be the Shan Chen
symbol, helmet.
But then that would be a giveaway.
Yeah, and you gotta do the whole, like, slow burn.
You gotta do the slow build-up.
I love this chapter because it is such a slow burn, and we get to see a perspective of people who don't know what
no idea
is going on. They're like, what is happening?
They figure it out pretty quick.
I mean, okay, medium.
For people who have no clue what's happening, they do a pretty decent job. I was okay. I was impressed. I was impressed. I was
okay.
Medium impressed by Morgan.
Medium. Medium.
But considering everything she's been through.
Yeah, okay. And we got to talk about that because it's like bad
We also have to talk about how irrevocable these words really are.
I know, right?
If nobody hears them.
That's the end of the chapter. Let's start at the beginning and then we'll go to the end and then we'll stop, okay?
Oh, is that how this works?
That's how it's supposed to work, but right now you're kind of mixing it up.
Okay. Alright, so Morgaze is having a real bad time right now. She's lying awake, staring at the ceiling, and thinks to herself, no matter how many times she bathes, she does not feel clean. And so now it took me about a page and a half of going, no.
Yeah. Yep.
No. That's what's being implied, but no, I'm reading this wrong. I'm reading too much into this.
Yeah.
No. And it took me too long to come to the conclusion that, yup, unfortunately,
yes,
this is a real situation for Morgaze.
Yeah, so just like putting it out on the table, and this is like definitely a sensitive chapter and topic for everybody, but it's very clear, and it's as clear as Robert Jordan ever gets in anything, that Asunawa tortured her.
With like whips and chains and prodding devices.
And then Valda raped her. Yeah. Like coerced raped. Yes. So it's just... That's on the table. That's what happened to her. So we really do get to see her, like, post-trauma experience.
Yeah.
And I think it's very accurate, and there's so many like little subtle clues in the entire chapter that makes it pretty realistic for her as a character.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, while she's lying here, she's thinking about her children, how Elaine must be safe in the tower, which is like a big old joke.
Yep.
But she literally has no clue.
Yeah.
She is so shut off from the rest of the world. She has no idea what's happening. And I feel for her like I felt for Gall and Bane and Chiad.
It's like,
when they
shut
were
off.
so cut off from what the rest of like their people and the world was doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and she has the added, like, unfortunate side of being compelled by Ravine to distrust the White Tower.
Yeah.
So that's still a lingering thing in her, and that's why it's in her brain, is because Ravine was like, don't trust Aes Sedai.
She can't make herself trust him.
Yeah. And she also assumes that Gawain is there beside Elaine, because why wouldn't he be?
Yeah.
Which is very not what's happening.
No.
Yeah.
Also, they still won't let her see Galad. And, you know, she does talk about how she really does love him.
She does.
And how Galad really has no one else but her.
Yeah.
Because both his parents are dead.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't think about often. But, like, that happened for him and that sucks. Right? I always forget. This is the most convoluted, confusing
it's terrible.
family tree.
Yeah, it's not good. So Morghese and Tarangale had Elaine and Gawain.
That's right.
And then Tarangale and Tigraine had Galad, and then Tigraine and Janduin had Rand.
Right.
So they're like, Galad and Rand are half brothers or whatever.
Yes, they are, yeah.
And then Elaine and Gawain are half brothers to
Galad.
Galad. But
And
technically,
Rand and
Elaine are not related. Except to this bitch over here who's like, oh, we're cousins, but not technically.
Not if we were farmers.
Not if we're farmers, so it's all good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah. So Galad's parents are dead, and he has Morghese as a stepmom.
Yes. She for sure loves him as a mother. It's very sweet. You know, Galad is still who he is.
Even if he's a white cloak.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not going to let Galad see you, because what would Galad do if he saw his mother being, like, tortured and raped in Amadicia, and he's a white cloak? We've already seen him literally cause a riot to help Elaine, and he didn't have any issues with that. He's like, yep.
And that's what they're going to have to deal with right now.
Yeah, this is huge.
We get that Asanawa and Valda left with 1,000 white cloaks to go face... Thousands. Okay?
Yeah.
To face the prophet and bring him down.
So it's like
That's
opportune moment for the Shanshan to attack. Holy smokes.
It's almost like
they
had some insight.
Oh, right?
Weird.
Crazy. Like that dude riding away that we saw. Riding away being like, oh.
Yep.
You remember that?
That was in Abu Dar. That was the guy with Matt.
Right. That was the guy with Matt.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, well.
But also be wary over there,
Seriously.
too.
Right. Well,
Everyone be wary of these invaders.
Cautious. And you know what? You had a theory that they were going to attack from, like, the coast, I think. From the south. You're going to swoop in.
Yeah.
And, I mean, kind of, sort of, it's working. Maybe.
Well, Amadicia is not remotely the coast.
You know, it's like not... It's closer than some.
My theory's wrong.
It's close. I'm trying to give you points here.
I know.
It's closer than some.
Well, they totally took over Terrebonne.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think that it makes sense if they're going to rush into other places where the power is weak.
Sure.
Right? Because Amadicia, the king, has very little power.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that Abu Dar, they're going to swoop in because the queen has very little power. Like, that makes sense to me. Especially for what we see here. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, because at this point, Morghese berates herself because she always thought she was brave enough to do whatever needed doing. And that's when we get kind of all the stuff that she's been through. And she hears a noise at her bedchamber door and trembles, thinking it might be Valda or Asunawa again.
Yeah, even though they wrote out like yesterday.
Yeah, but it's not. It's Brienne who's come with something for her to drink, and now Morghese snaps at her because she doesn't want to be seen as like weak and needing support.
Neither one of them know how to handle the situation, and it's not good. No, they don't.
It's not good. And so now Brienne does go on to be like, you're fine. Your bones aren't broken.
You're not dead yet. It's fine. Get over it. Move past it.
But I do think that this is her...
Is she like trying to tough love it?
No, yeah.
Like tough love, get over it. You're still alive. You're fine.
Oh, no. No. I think that this is what she thinks Morghese would want to hear.
Okay.
This is her pep talk for the Queen of Andor.
Okay, yeah.
And I think that because she does a little, like, hand squeeze.
Yeah.
When, like, the men come busting in.
Right.
She does give her a hand squeeze.
She does.
She feels for her and she understands kind of what's going on for her. But, like, this is her tactic because she thinks that this is what Morgaze would like.
Yes,
need.
and it's clearly it's not, so it's not working.
But,
and
like,
they get in this huge argument.
I think that Morgaze doesn't really need much. I don't think she needs anything right now.
Well, that's the thing.
It's
so
like fresh.
There is nothing to do at this point that there's nothing you could say to make it better at this point.
No.
And that's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Now, it's interesting because when Brienne and Morgaze are kind of having this, like, fight, Morgaze thinks about how she said yes to Valda, who asked her, kind of, in a way.
Yeah.
And she said yes to avoid Asunawa's torturing, but in the end it wasn't worth the shame. And so, no matter what, even if she technically consented...
Yeah, it's like coerced rape is... it's like it's
exactly.
not...
No, she definitely did not want it, and she is just not okay and not happy with herself, too. Like, she's beating herself up for basically, she feels, bringing it on herself, which is awful.
'Cause, it seems like the promise was Valda saying, if I can rape you, then Asunawa won't torture you anymore.
Yeah.
So
and it was
she
probably
said
not
yes.
phrased in that way.
Well, no. But that's the huge issue of everything. It's like, hey, they're all terrible people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So that's not great.
No.
Now, in the middle of all this back and forth, the door flings open and Talonvor runs in with Basil Gill. They're like, oh my god, something's happening. It's all awkward because Morgaze is still in bed and Basil Gill's like, oh my god, the queen's still in bed. How indecent.
Yeah.
But then we hear about a giant bird.
Yeah, this is like the comic relief of Basil Gill trying to explain what he saw.
Yeah, a big bird landing on the top of that building over there.
Yeah.
And then Linny comes in and is like, why are we talking about a big bird?
Yeah, what are we doing here?
And then Gil's like, well, I don't know if it was a bird, but what else flies?
And it's so funny because...
It was big.
Well, Gil literally doesn't have the vocabulary to describe what he saw.
He's like, it was a giant bird, kind of. And then men were climbing off its back.
Yes.
And it flew away with one still riding it.
And, like, at this point, we know.
We know.
They don't know, but we know. It's like, oh my god, Shan invasion.
In Amadicia.
Crazy.
Of all places, this is the best place for me to want them to be.
You know what? Let's do it. And, you know, it makes sense. Like, you know, Amadicia is right there.
From Terrebonne. When the women, Nynaeve and Elaine, were going east, the first place that they ended up going to was through, like, Amadicia.
Yeah,
and they had to sort of, like, circle around because they didn't want to go there, so they, like, went through Amador. Is that the country?
Amadicia is the country, and then Amador,
is the place that they're in.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that clearly is, like, the route. So this is the next place along the route.
Makes sense.
That's not, so I think I'm actually wrong a little bit in the whole coastal attack thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like...
Because it seems like they're going land
They could do both.
bound. They're, like, moving east.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and again, not land bound, because they got the big, giant, flying dragon type thing.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
right?
They
big,
also
big
have
birds.
Air, land, and sea. They're taking the whole world.
Bunch of big, yellow birds flying.
Honestly, if they didn't use humans as weapons, I would totally be on board with the Shanchen honestly winning the world. That's, like, really the main thing holding me back.
Good. It's like one thing, got one hang up with your culture.
It's a pretty big hang up.
It's like,
but,
you know,
but honestly, they wouldn't be able to do what they do.
Yeah, it's like a big
one thing.
It's a big part of it. So
it's a huge part of it. It would be nice if maybe somehow they could have a culture of, like, say, Aes Sedai that could just do a bunch of violence. And we're on board with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, if the Aes Sedai were trained...
Yeah,
like,
no.
Or if they're channelers... Let's say the Shanchen had channelers that were trained like soldiers.
Sure.
Like, women who could channel joined an army.
Yeah.
Like, men join an army and train.
Yeah.
And then they're totally in it, and they're doing the things that they're doing, but it's less like, you're not a person.
Yeah.
And more like, you're a valuable member of our army.
True.
Then they could still do what they're doing, but less gross.
And I get that.
Let's have that version.
Okay, so let's breeze past that.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So Talonvor's like, look out the window. There's something. It just landed on that building.
On the North Barracks, because we saw them land on the South Barracks.
And now they're surrounded.
Yeah.
That's really what we get.
Yep.
Morgaze sounds all shaken up, and she goes over to the window, and she's like, there's nothing. He's like, just watch. And then all of a sudden she sees.
Yeah.
She sees, and she's like, oh my god, it's Shadow Spawn. What else could this be?
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense, because what else is like a big giant flying monster?
Yeah.
That's what Shadow Spawn is.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's a flash of light and a big boom in the direction of the main gates. And then, again, there's more flashes of lights and booms along the wall, the city wall here. And Morgaze is like, oh my god, the one power is being used. It must be Aes Sedai.
Yeah, so this is the thing. We know that she can channel, so she can, although she's not...
She, like, kind of learned,
So, okay,
right?
So she is so weak in the power that she essentially can't channel, but she can still sense the source.
Yeah.
She still can feel Saidar being channeled.
Yeah.
So she knows that Saidar is being used in this, like, attack.
Right.
So the only thing that makes sense in her brain is Aes Sedai. And
she's like, but why would they be coming to rescue me now?
yeah, well, that's what
thinks it's
Talonvor
for
says.
her, yeah.
Talonvor says that. So because Gil gets excited. He's like, Aes Sedai, wonderful,
great,
yay. And Talonvor's like, why now? Why are they going to try and rescue you? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And also, they're not supposed to be able to use the power against people.
men.
So yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And that's when Morgaze almost gets hit by a crossbow bolt at the window, and she thinks a few inches to the right and all her troubles would be over.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't move from the window, which is important for later.
Yeah.
And then Talonvor literally has to like curse and pull her away.
Yeah.
Because she is 100% like...
Well, maybe I should just die.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Talonvor says it's more likely that it's one of those men.
The shaman.
The shaman or whatever. And that's
Ashaman.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Because at first, I thought he was trying to say... You know how people struggled with the word Shanchen?
Sure.
And at first, because that's where my mind was. I knew that that's what was going
the
on here.
Sanchin or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And so he's like, is it the shaman?
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Ashaman. Yeah, that's what it is.
He's saying.
Yep. The men.
Because then Morgaze goes on to think about how he doesn't know the difference between Saidar and Saidin, and she does.
And she can feel the Saidar being channeled, so she knows it's women, so therefore must be possibly Aes Sedai.
And Talonvor is like, whatever's happening here, let's leave.
Yeah.
There's clearly confusion, like, let's just get out. And then Lini, who's here, freaks out because we can't go out in this.
It's
We're
like a war going on.
Die.
And Lenny has a good point because, you know...
No, I was on board with Talonvor here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, do the sneak out thing.
And you know what? It could have worked. Like, the issue is knowing how it ends up. Clearly waiting was the better route.
Well, maybe, though. Maybe not.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But also, like, in the madness of the war, like, maybe they get caught up and taken prisoner.
Yeah,
and who
especially
knows?
because, like, if there's rushing in.
Yes, because they literally wait, like, half a day.
Yeah, they do.
So.
That's true. All right, so Morgaze takes control. She's like, nope, nobody's leaving. We sit here. So in the meantime, she, like, gets dressed for the day because, like, it's still nighttime, kind of, and she hasn't slept. But
yeah.
It's early enough. So they all sit and wait in the room, and they listen to the sounds of the crashes and roars and men shouting and fighting, and it's at least an hour of battle before things die down.
Yes, but
And
then it's like more waiting too.
Yeah, then she can still feel Saidar being channeled, so she's like very confused. And then everything sounds a bit more peaceful outside, but they keep waiting.
Yes, the plan is literally wait.
Yeah.
Wait until something happens to us specifically.
Yep. And then something happens to them specifically.
Yeah.
Some people come in.
Yeah, they pan on the door and the door opens up. And the whole thing about this chapter is it's probably twice as long as it needs to be for the sake of it all being new for Morgaze.
Yeah,
but it's not
exactly.
new for us.
Yeah, like the descriptions of the Shanchen in general.
From her perspective of like,
starting like now, it's like double in length, I think, than it could be.
So like we know all this stuff, she doesn't, but it's her perspective, so we gotta play along with that.
Yeah, so this guy's like, you are Morgaze, Queen of Andor? And he's slurring so much that Morghese can't even understand him.
Yeah,
and
he's Shanshan.
Yeah,
we don't need to describe his helmet. We don't need to describe everything. We know the Shanshan. Yeah. We know them.
You know what's a little entertaining?
What?
The audiobook, when Kate reading is attempting to do like a slurring accent.
Talk with your teeth closed.
Yeah, that's essentially what she does.
That's what's happening.
But that's not a Texas drawl. So like there's some miscommunication between
also,
Robert
the Texas drawl is like it's a thing that's like maybe that's not exactly what it's supposed to maybe sound like. We're not sure.
I don't understand.
You know, okay, I'm curious. You know what? We don't need to talk about that.
No, okay. Okay. Because there's a lot of mention of, like, the slurring accent that Morghese can barely understand.
Yes.
And she's, like, super confused because she knows all dialects.
Well, it's also really funny because there's a whole side of the Wheel of Time universe that people hate the fact that, you know, technically, if Arthur Hawkwing's armies left 1,000 years ago and, you know, should it still be the Old Tongue or should it be just a different dialect? But it's like, RJ doesn't have time to write, like, 6 different languages. Like, let's just translate it. Let's get the story going. It's not about the language. It's about the story. So give him a slur. Give him, like, hard to understand. That's
well, and
good
Arthur
enough.
Hawkwing's time wasn't Old Tongue, was it?
But Matt has memories and talks in the Old Tongue of people from that time and age. So it's like, when did it really change? And it doesn't quite line up, but it doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't matter because we're here for the story, not the language specifically.
And it's better for this if these two groups speak the same language.
Or at least enough that I don't need like 16 more pages of just like trying to figure out what the fuck everyone's saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'll give him a pass. I'll give him a pass.
Yeah, we definitely don't need more pages.
No.
We don't need more of that. All right. Anyway, so everybody moves to, like, go with Morghese, but then turns out Morghese has to go alone. So off Morghese goes with the Shanshan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, she realizes that they're taking her to the Lord Captain Commander's quarters, and she's starting to feel unsettled about this, but then also, like, very confused.
Yeah, she also, because there used to be Niles, and now it's Valda's, but it's like, he's gone, and what's going on?
And then now she's seeing Terabonner soldiers marching around, and she thinks
confusing.
Terabon couldn't have launched an attack on Amador.
They suck.
They're a total disaster.
They're the worst. There's no way they got organized enough to, like, invade and actually take over
anything here.
Yeah.
Except that
we know
with proper leadership.
But that's the thing is we know that the Shanshan will basically recruit the forces of the nation.
Yeah.
As long as you take the oaths,
cool,
you can do whatever you want to, and then you're part of the army.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It seems good. I feel like we've had this exact conversation. Like go
Romans.
back.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to the chapters we did over in Falma in all of book 2 anytime we were talking about it, because even in Falma when guys were walking around with their swords and it was like, oh yeah, those guys swore the oath, so we don't need to worry about that.
I did a fun fact about how it's very Romanesque. It's like we take over, and again, it's not all glorified like a lot of Rome is, but you take over, you give them a little bit of, you know, you can do things still in your own way as long as you swear to us. We're cool. As long as you don't cross the line.
Yeah. How easy is it to swear an oath and then just, like, break it?
But they don't really care because they know they're going to win anyways.
That's fair.
I love the confidence.
Yeah.
I do.
They're like, do whatever the fuck you want!
It's like, yeah. And we get that at the end of the chapter. It's so good.
Yeah, because, like, an individual isn't going to just, like, rise up
It's like, you know what? Tell them. Tell
except
people.
for, like, maybe Rand.
Really?
We got a meat grinder situation.
Sure.
Because we had Rand riding in before, dispelling the Shanshan
But here's the thing. Damani are no joke. Aes Sedai are a joke when it comes to battle. But Damani, we've seen Egwene's training, they're here for the battle.
Surprise attack.
Well, they're
That's
here
how
to
they
fight.
got him last time, though.
They got
him last time with surprise attack.
That's true. Okay. I guess we'll have to read and
find out. We're a little bit further inbound. We're like in now.
Getting nervous.
Well, honestly, like, what's happening?
What's going to happen with,
out of all the things we need to be concerned about. And I knew this was something we had to be concerned about.
Yeah.
In book 2, when they fled away,
sure,
you said to me, is this it? Is this the end? And I went, no, oh no.
Right.
Oh no. And we've been getting tidbits of it sprinkled throughout.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is one of those situations where I, like, in book 2, jokingly was like, we'll see in book 7, you know?
Yes,
and I, like, laughed because I would always throw things out like that.
And eventually you're going to get some book right where it's like, book 7.
I'm sure at some point I yelled out, in book 7 we'll get a Shanshan attack. Right? And that seemed like forever away.
And to be fair, that was like, if that was 2 years ago, and it's a pretty long time ago.
It feels like not that long ago.
Yeah, but that was
honestly,
like 3 years ago, so.
That's fair. Okay.
Let's continue.
Yeah, let's do it.
With Morgaze being confused
and
seeing things that we already know about.
Okay. Because this is where she sees two women, and we know them as a Suldam and Damani, but she's very confused by this like collar and leash and bracelet situation.
And how could people own each other or
and
something, like treat people like this?
Yeah, she's sure that the one could channel, but she doesn't really know what's going on. And then at this point, I was thinking, I wonder if this is Suroth. I wonder if this is who we're going to see, or if we're about to meet, like, a new, different Shanshan person.
Yes. And, okay, important thing to note in all of this, in the next upcoming experience, technically Morgaze can channel. Technically, she was trained in the White Tower.
Right. And we are going to learn about that in a minute. All right, so we make it to the audience chamber here, and everything has been moved out except for one high-back chair and two screens with painted scenes. Yeah. So it's just like the place they set up.
Bare bones.
In Falma.
Yeah.
For that guy.
Exactly. Turok. Yeah, the one that Rand killed?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yep, that's the one. Okay.
The Blade Master?
Yeah. So now there's a few people in this room. A woman steps forward and announces, "You are in the presence of High Lady Suroth." And I went, okay, here we go. It's not someone new. Doubly bad that this is a crazy dark friend.
Perfect. It's the one who captured Egwene and everybody.
Perfect.
Yay. Who was working with Leandrian. It's great.
And the one who was off the coast on some island gathering forces and like learning stuff and stuff.
Oh, yes. There's some callbacks. Yes. We know people in this chapter.
I know.
I know you know, but I know that you don't know. So I have the notes so good. You can remember.
Okay, because the whole time I was thinking, like, who do I know? Okay, so I remembered Suroth.
Yes.
That's the one I remembered.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Morgaze gets, like, slammed down on the floor by a soldier, and then Suroth is like, release her. She's the queen of Andor. She shouldn't be treated like this. And Morgaze, like, watches this interaction between this guy and Suroth, and it's, like, totally this, like, good cop, bad cop thing.
Well, here's the thing. Morgaze thinks it's good cop, bad cop, where it's like, oh, it's totally a play.
Planned.
Like, it's a planned thing to make Elbar look bad and Suroth look like she's being nice. Yeah. But also they're Shanshan and they're fucking crazy.
So it's like, who knows, actually.
Like, who knows? Maybe he will be doubly punished if she was injured. And also, like, Suroth isn't even necessarily talking for herself at the beginning because we know that the Shanshan don't do that. No. They have their little servant person, assistant lady who does the talking for her, and that's why they do the, like, hand talking. Sure. So it's like, the Shanshan are very odd and weird.
You mean the flicking of a finger?
Exactly. That's like the hand talking.
Okay.
Yeah, we assume it's some sort of like sign language. There's got to be some sort of communication.
Yeah, okay. So Suroth is like, Morgaze, are you okay? It's this whole thing. And Morgaze is like, I'm fine. And she looks around at the serving men and women here and then is like, oh my god. Their garb is basically transparent.
Yes.
And then so she looks away. And she also sees more of the Suldam and Damani.
Yep.
And she also sees this giant, weird cat-bear thing.
Cat-bear dog.
With no hair and no muzzle.
It's a man-bear pig.
It's a weird thing called a Lopar.
And it's not the first time we've actually heard the name, but this is the first time we get an official, like, this is what a Lopar is. So I got some fun information for you.
Cool, okay.
So number one, you might be thinking, oh, this must be Lopar, the innkeeper we met in The Dragon Reborn.
It's not.
Who's the innkeeper at the White Crescent, which was when Matt was looking for Komar, who was trying to murder Elaine in Tyr.
Okay.
There was an innkeeper named Kavin Lopar.
Okay.
Very funny.
Wasn't thinking that.
Not this Lopar. This is a different Lopar.
Got it. Okay.
This is the Lopar that's the creature, and we heard the name in Fires of Heaven from Sarandon at the circus. Elephant Lady.
I forgot that that's her name.
She had mentioned the existence. Sarandon. Yeah.
Okay. Saran wrap.
Got to remember that.
Got it.
Okay. Elephants. Shredet. Yeah. Shredet. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now we have that this big creature is like half again as big as the largest bear that Morgaze has ever seen. So there's a pretty big cat.
And I mean, like, how many bears has...
At least one.
Okay. Probably cages.
At least 2.
Yeah.
It's hairless. It looks like a bunch of tanned cow skins. And its name is Almandaragel.
Oh my god.
Which is like awfully close to... It's close to Lan's last name.
Oh yeah, also that.
It's close. Close
No,
enough.
if anything, it sounds like the old tongue name for Faldara.
Malfaldaranel. Yeah. That, again, also
and then
close.
I pictured Jabba the Hutt.
I love it. This is my pet. We get references that this Lopar was given as a pup for her first true name day. He foiled a first attempt to kill Suroth the same year when he was only a quarter grown. And then the Lopar's lips peel back to show thick pointed teeth, and it's got claws on its 6 long toes, and it purrs like a cat.
Yeah.
So that's what the Lopar is, and we actually got to see these at the Battle of Falma as the big shiny scaly cat things. We didn't know what they were back then.
Sure.
This was in book 2.
Okay.
Long time ago.
Scaly or are they skin-like?
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Here we go.
They're cow skins. They're just like
all right.
Big cats.
Okay, so not scales.
Disgusting.
You said scaly.
It's not sure.
Okay.
Not sure.
Now, Suroth introduces her Damani as the real threat in the room because she sees Morgay's reaction to this big cat.
Yep.
And this is kind of like a Jasmine with a tiger for a pet situation.
For sure.
She's like, this is nothing.
You're like,
this
whoa.
is just my tiger.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she says Pura and Jinjin could slay 100 assassins before a Lopar could. And I was like, no.
Oh, no.
Because I remember Pura is the yellow Aja.
Yep.
I remembered that one.
Do you remember what her actual name is? By your face, it seems like you don't. And that's disheartening. You don't even remember her real name?
No.
Rima. So she's the yellow.
Sorry, Pura.
Yeah,
sorry, Rima.
And we saw her in Falma.
Right, she was there with Egwene.
Well, she was the one being we saw her capture, and she's like, "Remember me." It was very, very upsetting.
I didn't. I remembered her. I just didn't remember her name.
Anyways, that was the thing that she didn't want you to forget.
Yeah,
anyway, it doesn't matter.
I remembered her.
So, and then we saw Suroth questioning Pura at the beginning of the Shadow Rising.
That's right, yeah.
About how does the tower control the Dragon Reborn? How are they helping him at Falma? And then Pura doesn't know anything. And she's like, please don't hurt me anymore, because I don't know anything. And also, I'm Aes Sedai.
Yes.
I can't lie, and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, no, for sure. Pura, she's here. That's happening.
Yes, okay.
And Morgase is very confused because she has the Aes Sedai face. And Morgase knows about Aes Sedai faces and stuff.
Yes, she does. Okay.
So she's very, can't connect what's happening.
No. And then now Suroth talks a bunch about Damani and Marith Damani.
The ones who have to be captured still.
And how this is a rich ground for finding women who can channel.
Yes.
Because Pura was once a woman of the White Tower. And Morgase is like, I don't know what's happening. She deflects and tries to act not worried. But I bet it doesn't come across well.
Yeah.
Although, if anyone can do that face, I bet Morgase can.
It just makes me think of Rand when he's like, oh, I hid that very well.
Exactly.
And then everyone's like, oh man, he's doing bad.
Yeah. I think that if anyone can really, though, it's Morgase. And I know that she's a little bit out of practice.
But she's still she's got the experience.
I think so.
That's fair. She's got decades of being a ruler.
That's right. So now Suroth makes this signal and orders some coffee.
Yep. Cuff.
From.
Yep.
The one and only
Thera. Did you pick up on that?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Can I tell you about what I picked up on?
Tell me, because this one was immediately find out.
And as soon as I read this, I wanted to talk to you about it.
And
because
this
is one that I wanted to be let me tell you about this.
It's said so many times in this chapter before we find out.
Thera. So here's the thing. I immediately recognized the name, and the problem is, in this setting...
Yep.
I'm going back to when Egwene was captured.
Right.
And I was going through who was this? Who was the one who captured
Yeah.
Egwene? And who was the one who Nynaeve and Elaine
Yep.
like captured? And I'm going through because I recognize the name and I'm trying to connect it to Damani and Seanchan.
Yeah.
The problem is
not that.
it's not a connection to the Damani and Seanchan, and until they say it later,
You're like, oh man.
that's where I was like, fuck, that's where I knew that from.
Yeah.
Because I knew the name.
It's like Rena?
Rena. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
if it was,
okay.
yeah. But Thera, like, it could have been Thera. You know
Oh,
what I
absolutely,
mean?
absolutely.
Like, it's been
Yeah.
so long for me. So, I recognize it, and because of the context, I couldn't freaking place it.
Which is that's great writing. That's fantastic.
I guess so.
It's like, oh, I know it. I know
Anyway,
it. Oh.
Also, can we talk about
How disgusting
more
coffee
gazes?
is?
Yeah.
You know, okay, so for the
Her
record,
description of the coffee
she's like,
is
oh
my
god,
favorite.
it's so friggin' worse.
She's like, it's the most bitter thing, blacker than tea, and so bitter that no amount of honey could ever make it drinkable.
I imagine it like an espresso type, like
Oh
just like
my
a
God.
little, and I get it. If it's just like a little, and you've never had it before,
Oh my gosh.
it would be the worst. I would hate it. Like, there's no chance. You gotta get, it's kind
Let's
of like,
introduce Morgaze to like a caramel macchiato or something.
it's like
right?
gotta ease you into it.
A white
Here's
chocolate mocha.
Here's a coffee with 6 sugars and 18
and
creams.
French
like,
vanilla and whipped cream on top.
right. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, I could drink coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so calf is disgusting.
So
and
good.
Morgaze tries to like lead this conversation a little bit.
A little bit.
Which is interesting considering she's in no position to lead any conversation. But she tries.
She's also acting as if it's like a ruler to a ruler, and we know that for the Seanchan, that's like a hard pass on the, like, you are so far below me that you technically shouldn't speak to me.
Yeah.
You should be like prostrated on the floor,
I know.
kissing my feet, and not kissing my
Literally.
feet because I don't want you to touch me.
No, because in the floor beside my feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Morgaze might be approaching this as in, like, even if you're an invading force,
We can
you
still
would
chat,
you'd
yeah.
speak to another ruler of a country with some level of respect.
Right. So she says, "Who are you? Where do you come from?" And to be completely fair, Suroth 100% answers this question.
She does, yeah.
100%. She says, I'm
We're the Seanchan.
We're the Seanchan. We're heirs to Archer Hawkwing, etc., etc. We're here to reclaim all of our stolen land, etc., etc. And here's a bunch of threats about how I get a bunch of nobles and kings and queens to
Yeah.
swear to me, or I kill them in a horrible fashion.
Yeah, I'm going to put you in a silk bag and tie you up, and then you'll die. So, yeah, it's
Or
like 6 pages of...
Impaled.
Right. And
Impaling.
it's literally like 6 pages of threats of her making
It's-
threats
it's
about
not
all
six, but yes.
Probably 26 pages.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Right.
47?
It's a lot of It's basically the entire book of her threatening Morgaze not so subtly.
Everyone has choices.
Yeah, over and over again, so...
Yeah. So after Suroth's long monologue about conquering the world, Morgaze says, okay, I get it. Everybody, like, honors Archer Hawkwing, sort of. But that was so long ago, no one's gonna surrender to you just because of that. And, like, in the middle of Morgaze's, like, speech here...
It's a bold speech.
I wanted to be like, Morgaze, read the fucking
Shut
room.
it. Shut it.
Read the room. Like, yes, think all those things.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't tell the invading army. It's like, guys, you guys suck. I don't know if you know this.
They literally took right over.
Nobody likes you.
You're the only one here. Like,
Suroth, you don't even go here.
I really thought Morgaze was, like, about to be captured. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
shut it.
Yeah.
Like, think all those things, sure. But be like, interesting. No.
No.
If anything, like, anyway, so she's like, clearly you've taken Terrebonne, but they suck.
Yeah, they're
So,
not
like,
even like a real country,
once
so they
you
don't
run
count.
into actual resistance, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yes.
When everyone figures out what's happening, they're gonna band together to fight you. And then Suroth is like, no,
Yeah, and like even if they do, sure.
I'll just kill him.
Yeah, and keep in mind these are the ones who come before.
Yeah.
The return hasn't even come yet.
No.
Like the
So,
actual.
like, they could give a frick how many of these people they just, like, murder
Yes.
along the way. They're like, we're gonna wipe all you out, and then everyone from where we live, I don't even know what it's called. Is it called Seanchan?
Yeah, we can call it
What is it?
Seanchan.
Okay. they're coming over.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing.
And we're all just going to inhabit this land.
So this is the invading, the Forerunners who got pushed back, and now they're basically trying to take as much as they can before the actual real army gets here.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
what it is.
Anyway, so, that's not great for Morgaze here. Suroth makes another gesture to her assistant lady and says, Thera, poses of the swan. Sort of. There's also someone here named, like, Alwyn or something.
We know Alwyn.
Yeah, see, I knew it.
We do know Alwyn. Okay, so
From
she's here also here. So she's the one who was one of the Suldam in the Great Hunt when Egwene was captured as Damani. And she called out Egwene for not even, like, attending the channel one time and got her in trouble. But then she was also in the same scene with Pura being questioned by Suroth in The Shadow Rising. And Alwyn is one of the people who knows too much about the Suldam situation where Suldam can actually channel.
Yeah.
And then Suroth raised her up in the hierarchy to basically keep her quiet because Alwyn knows all the secret stuff.
Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, because here it seems like Suroth and Alwyn aren't exactly getting along.
Which makes sense. They weren't getting along before either.
Because I think it's Alwyn who says, Thera, poses of the swan. And then Suroth is like, not of the swan. Yeah. Just the poses.
Yeah.
Or something. And it's like, you're arguing over literally nothing that anyone cares about.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like they don't get along. There is, like, contention there.
Yeah.
But it's like, between them.
It's weird. It's weird. And then we get this whole long demonstration of this, like, weird dance from the servant, like, Thera.
Yeah.
Who we find out in a minute is actually Amathera.
Because after all this, there's so much roundabout.
I know.
And the issue is Morgaze, it doesn't seem like Morgaze picks up on it, or not to the extent that Suroth wants her to pick up on it. Because Suroth is clearly, like, threatening. Yes. And Morgaze is just kind of brushing everything off. So finally she's like, hey, Thera, tell Morgaze who you used to be.
Yeah.
And she's like, I used to be Amathera, the Panarch of Terabon.
Yes, but she doesn't say it like that.
No, there's a whole bunch of roundabout, but that's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's basically Suroth being like, hey, Morgaze, this is going to be you if you don't get in line.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because essentially, this woman who's, like, dancing, essentially naked, is called the Dakoval, which is interesting because that COV, that Cove, is also in the Corsorvra or something.
Yes.
It's like similar, and it's about basically being owned.
Yeah.
And then Suroth goes, hey, Thera, what was your name and title before you became my property?
Yes.
And she says, Amathera, if it pleases my lady. I was the Panarch of Terabon, if it pleases my lady.
Well, and it's very interesting, too, because, like, who rescued Amathera, right?
Elaine.
Yeah, and Nynaeve.
And Nynaeve. Well, mostly Elaine. Elaine did the badass, like, busting in. Nynaeve had her own thing that she had to do, which was beat Moghedien.
Yeah.
We wouldn't say that Elaine beat Moghedien.
No, but I mean, it's like
Elaine rescued the Panarch.
They were in that together.
No, Nynaeve didn't rescue the Panarch.
It was a whole plan. It was a whole thing.
Whatever, though. But yeah. So there's that.
Sorry, Amathera.
Oh my god. We tried so hard for you.
Tried so hard.
She's been through so much. She was the one who was tortured by Tamail.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Shit.
Poor Amathera.
We just heard about her recently.
Yes. Yeah.
Shoot. Because we heard about Tamail and then...
Valiant and Black Aja. Terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Thera.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
Yikes. So now at this news, Morgaze is shocked, and she's like, no, this has to be a lie. Same with Pura being Aes Sedai. There's no way any of this is true. And then Suroth, like, steps in and is like, listen, lady, everyone makes choices, and some people say you spent some time in the White Tower, and by law, you can't escape the leash.
Yeah.
But I pledge to you that you will not face that fate, and I hope you will choose to swear the oath, Morgaze. You can rule Andor in the name of the Empress. May she live forever.
Yeah, and now get the hell out of here.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, do that.
Yeah, and it actually, from Suroth's perspective, even with the situation being what it is with Damani, if Morgaze was an actual channeler, she would be Damani.
Yeah.
Like, no question.
Yeah.
But the fact that she basically can't channel at all...
And I bet they can feel that, yeah.
They for sure can. The Suldam and Damani can for sure be like, yeah, it's like negligible it doesn't...
But at this point in this conversation, like, Suroth wouldn't know that yet, would she?
Well,
or is it just they would know information about her?
Morgase saw the Damani and Suldheim in the hallway before she ever got.
That's true.
It's very possible that at this point she knows 100%.
Okay, maybe.
So it's just a point, like it's a trade-off that would make sense at this point for sure for Suroth, because if she can potentially take over Andor with a couple of threats, do it.
Yeah.
And you're not losing a Damani who can channel. Yeah. Because she can't, like, Morgase literally can't do anything, so it doesn't matter.
No. All right, so now Morgase gets marched back to her room, and the Shan-Chen guy tells the 2 Terabana guards, watch her because she hasn't given an oath yet.
Can't trust him until they take the oath.
And Morgase hurries inside. Linny and Brianne are there, but the men have left. And Morgase still doesn't even really know what's going on or what just happened. Turns out all the men have gone to find out what's happening. And Brianne is like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. So this is the big plan.
This is it. Morgase is like looking out the window. She's seeing what's going on. There's a confusing scene about Shan-Chen hustling out like White Cloak prisoners.
She's just like watching what's happening in the city.
Yeah.
And she's
down in like the courtyard or something.
Yeah, she's very, and she's like not very optimistic at all about this. And that's why she's thinking, I've got a couple of choices, because Suroth said I have choices. Yeah. I can either help the Shan-Chen take Andor, which she clearly doesn't want, or I can
jump out this freaking window.
I can step off the ledge here, 20 feet down, and, it's not the best, but...
Dunzo for me.
Yeah, they don't have a lever for Andor.
Right. Maybe the coward's way out, but still.
Yeah, which again is like super flaw thinking, because, hey, Morgase, you don't rule Andor.
No. Oh, no.
Like, you're not in control anymore.
No, and you're just, like, basically passing the buck so you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's essentially what that would be.
And it's kind of like the whole Game of Thrones thing, right? Where, what's his face, the little dude who, like, walks out the window because he doesn't want to be king anymore?
Oh, the child.
The child. Yeah.
Give full disclosure, I meant to look it up. We couldn't remember it. Tommen. Yeah. Tommen Baratheon.
Yeah. Not to make light of his
Spoiler
situation,
alert.
But you had time to watch it, so,
Yikes.
Okay. Anyways, those are the vibes where Morgase is like, hey, I'm just going to do this, and then it's
problem
done.
solved.
There you go. And it's like, your problems are solved.
I think the problem is she's in a very...
Oh, she's in a dark place, for sure.
Dark mental state. She's in a place where things aren't going well for her. They haven't been going well for a very long time. And then on top of everything like going terribly, now here's an invading force saying they're going to take over Andor.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'll put, like, on record... Debatably, Morgase has had the worst cards dealt to her in the series so far. For what happens to her?
I'd say that's a pretty tight race. I'd say there's a lot of terrible things that happen to a lot of people.
Morgase is like a competitor for top spot there.
Yeah, I agree, but I think
not the episode to get into that. We can do that later on as like a bonus episode, maybe.
Bonus,
Who has it worse?
Yikes, that'll be a very low, sad bonus episode. Okay. Okay, I feel bad about laughing through this.
I know, it's a raw chapter, but you
either laugh or we cry.
Yeah.
Those are our options here. So now Morgase, I guess, decides instead of jumping out this freaking window, I'm just gonna renounce myself as queen. Why not?
But not actually. Like to anybody.
I thought for sure she was like saying this loudly.
That I feel like that would have way more
impact.
Yeah. So like anybody heard you versus you whispering like under your breath like it's like, okay, I'm not queen anymore.
I know it doesn't mean anything. Like, can I tell you what I thought she was doing? Because I skipped over the part where she's like, no one has ever done this before. I skipped over that part, and I just saw when she was talking, and it's like, under the light, and she's like taking an oath, and I thought she was saying some Shan-Chen oath thing, but then I like missed.
That's not how it works either.
I was like, I don't know what's going on.
And also, in her oath, it's like, I'm not queen anymore, my daughter's queen now. She also thinks that's also not how it works, because that's not how
she's technically not queen, but I'm also technically not queen now because I said I didn't want to be.
But also, everyone thinks you're dead, Morgase. So, like, you're not even in the picture.
Yeah.
You're not in the equation for your current queen of Andor. Nobody... The king of Andor is currently technically Rand.
Kind of. Yeah.
Like, until Elaine shows up, Randy...
He's the ruler.
He's the ruler of Andor.
Sure. Yeah.
We can go into all we want to.
Whispering to yourself, I'm not the queen.
I'm not the queen. It's not how it works.
But those are her irrevocable words. I feel like this is actually meant to be like a very serious thing.
It is supposed
that she's
to be
done,
serious.
and we're supposed to take it very seriously. And I feel like you're not being serious
I'm
enough.
not being serious. I've had to live through this scene so many times.
Well, this scene is dumb.
I don't feel like I took it seriously the first time either, but I don't remember.
I also didn't, because I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then Linny, because at this point, I thought she said it to the room.
Yeah, no, she whispered it.
Even if, like, Linny and Brienne, like, even if you say, I'm not queen, to Linny and Brienne, it still doesn't count.
Here's the thing. To put a serious note on it, Morgaze is legitimately, at this point, going to jump out the window.
Yeah, she's going to kill herself.
Like, she's actually going to kill herself.
Yep.
So, she is essentially making peace with her own... like role in everything.
What's happening.
She's making peace.
This is for Morgaze and for nobody else.
She's saying goodbye to herself and her family, because then Linny sees her by the window and her smiling, and she's like, "What are you smiling at?" And Morgaze says, "I'm thinking about Elaine." And Linny knows. She knows what's up. So she's like, "Oh no, you effing don't.
And
no,
she
you don't."
Morgaze away from
Yanks
the
her
window.
away from the window.
And then we get in this big argument.
Whole argument about, like, no, Morgaze, if you kill yourself right now, we're all dead, because then what are the Shanshan gonna think? Like, we pushed you out the window.
Yeah.
We're all gonna just get murdered.
Yeah.
Like, so no, don't be selfish.
And also,
don't do
like,
it.
we don't want you to die.
Also that, but also, like, well, no. Brienne is like, I don't care about what happens to you, but if you die, then that means that Lamgwin dies, and F you if you're gonna kill him, and then me because of that. So, you know
all
what?
of that.
Serious note, there's a lot of feelings, a lot of things. Serious note, Morgaze, happy you're still with us.
Not doing her best.
No.
Yeah. Now, in the middle of this giant argument, Talonvor comes back in with Gil and Lamgwin.
Yep.
And then right away the women stop arguing, because, like, how indecent would that be to let the men see you arguing?
Yeah. Don't want them to know what's up.
We're a united front.
Right.
And then Morgaze notices they have their swords back.
And we know why.
Did they swear their oaths?
Yeah, they swore their oaths.
Yeah.
And the Shanshan are like, cool, you said the oaths? Cool, here's your sword, here's a bunch of weapons, so we don't care.
Nope. And then one more person enters, and it's tiny little scrawny Balwer.
You know what? I love this. I've been trying to highlight Balwer to you since we met him.
Yeah.
Every chance I get.
You've done a pretty good job, because I see him in a pretty positive light.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, because I think when we saw him, when he saw Niall die.
Okay, yeah.
And then Valda was basically like, I'm going to kick you so you bounce.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this guy's not gone.
And, well, we talked about, like, is he ditching out right now? So.
Yeah.
And he's the real spy master. Like, Myrna was the fake guy. It's so good.
Exactly.
I love him so much.
Exactly. So here we are, and Morgaze is like, why are you here? What's going on? And Talonvor's like, he's the plan. He's getting us out of here right now, today.
Like, right now.
Let's go. This is much better than the Pater and his stupid uncle plan.
Love it.
Because this is an actual plan, not a stupid dark friend plan.
This is like an actual spy master. I have a plan to get you the heck out of here. So.
Yep. And so Morgaze is like, how and why? And Balwer's like, I had plans to get you out of here before the Shanshan came. It seemed not great to leave the Queen of Andor in Valda's hands. I know I'm not much to look at, but the plan will work. The Shanshan actually make it easier.
Yeah.
Without them, I'd still need more time, but turns out they give a lot of freedom to people who are willing to take their oath.
Yeah, and we know
like,
all that.
No way, this is a trap, but no, we're going. Talonvor says we're going. He makes the final decision and is like, let's go.
Well, it's really funny, because as soon as the Shanshan invaded Balwer, like, since this morning, Balwer already has a pass to let himself and 10 other people leave Amador.
To go buy wine or something.
He's going to buy wine and sell it. And also, they're cool with it, because they say, even if you're going to go and tell people about our army, tell them what you've seen, and then tell them
and warn them. Yeah, we're coming.
To be like, you can't stand against us, because, like, F you, so.
Yep.
I love the confidence of the Shanshan, and it's so funny how that interacts in, like, a realistic setting.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. Because they're not here to, like, stop people from living their lives.
Yeah.
If they're willing to live the same type of life that they are living.
Yeah.
Like,
so, like, that's the thing for, like, the average person, and this is the hard part about the Shanshan, is the average person probably has a bit of a better life under the Seanchan rule.
Mm-hmm. Well, because even Suroth, we didn't talk about it, but Suroth says Terabon was like in ruin last time we saw it, and now no one's gonna go hungry.
Exactly. So it's like it's a hard thing to think about.
Yeah, it is. I said I like the Seanchan if they had their Damani channelers as like voluntary soldiers.
Right? So
it would be like no question that we like them, I think. Sort of.
Yeah, it's like...
Especially considering Suroth is a dark friend, so that's something we shouldn't forget.
But, like, everybody has... And Suroth isn't, like, top of the Seanchan. She's just, like, you know...
I don't know where she is now.
We kind of knew, because she wasn't in...
She might have moved up, and that was her plan. She wants to get to the top and stuff.
And we know that, but it's like everybody else has dark friends, too. So we can't judge a civilization based on the one dark friend who's kind of in charge.
But we definitely can have our guard up and be wary and keep in mind... that this is a dark friend. Like,
especially when they got big cats.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so it turns out Morgaze doesn't believe it's going to be this easy to escape. And then literally the chapter ends with them all just riding out of Amador.
Yeah.
Past the guards, out the gates. Now, I have to believe that Morgaze is a little bit hidden. Because they wouldn't just let the Queen of Amador leave, I think.
Well, okay, so they killed the 2 guards outside their door.
Yeah, they did do that and shoved them under the bed.
Yep, so that happened.
Yeah.
And the average soldier wouldn't know what Morgaze looks like.
True. But I believe maybe she has her hood up.
Yeah, for sure.
Like something.
Yeah, Bulwark's got something. He's like, yeah, for sure. He's got a plan.
Yeah. And now Morgaze is thinking about how she said the irrevocable words. And I wrote ... that no one heard ? Because... whatever, and we talked about that, like...
So, here's the thing.
But
Morgaze, does she want to be queen still?
You know what, it doesn't really seem like it, but I think that if she were to be able to, like, get back to Camelin and the palace and start setting things right and back to doing her thing, I think she would like it and do a good job. But the place she's in right now, she just can't see it. She doesn't see the hope. She doesn't see how there's any way she can go from where she is right now, where she's currently positioned, to being queen again.
Yeah.
She can't see that.
So maybe the words are more for her to like move past that part of her life and be like, maybe I can be with... I mean, the whole thing, like,
no, she says she's going to move past thinking about young men who cause her trouble.
Yeah, but, like, really, are we moving past Talonvor?
Oh, no, she's not moving past Talonvor.
Okay.
But she's like, well, maybe I can find some kind of life without a throne, because she just, like, can't picture it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, she thinks she's fallen too far.
Yeah.
But if she were to show up in the palace in Camelin, I don't think that anyone else knows how far she's fallen.
True, that's true, too.
But yeah, that's where we end this chapter.
Yeah.
That was a lot. And you know what I'm so excited for, can I tell you?
More Moradin.
Honestly, kind of. That's kind of cool. No. I'm excited for reading a book on an airplane without children.
We're going on a trip.
We're going on a trip. Our first child-free trip. We're going this weekend. And you know what? It's kind of interesting because we've been recording quite quickly, back to back to back, so that we have some episodes to release while we're away, and we have my parents coming to visit, and it's a whole thing. So I've been spoiled with the amount I've been able to read.
Yeah.
And now...
you gotta stop.
We're like at least a week and a half, 2 weeks away from recording again.
Yeah.
So like I get to read the next 2 chapters, but that's it.
That's true.
And this is where things are getting good.
Ooh, we're getting into it.
So this is kind of upsetting for me.
That's fair.
We'll see though.
Yep.
We'll see how this goes. I'm very excited. And I think we've chatted long enough tonight. So before you go ahead and think that you still have lots of power, but actually somebody has your soul in a keychain, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett, with Essen, Passion Socks, Mozyme, Moltude, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, Megan Smiley, Jonathan Reese, Vince Lewick, and Margaret, with music by Audionautics. If you are interested in supporting us and the podcast and also getting some really cool exclusive merch and access to early episodes and bonus episodes, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and us, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, how to get in touch with us, things like that, for all things The Wheel Weaves, you can go to thewheelweavespodcast.com. Please be sure to give us that 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference. And tell a friend about us because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks again for listening because this really is part of the pattern now.